The diagram represents a rectangle divided into many sections. Which triangle is isosceles? An isosceles triangle has at least two equal sides. We need to identify the triangle that has at least two equal sides. We are looking at the triangle AOG. Option A, that is what we are looking at. Option A, in the triangle AOG, the sides OA and OG are equal in length. So OA and OG are equal in length. The triangle is therefore isosceles. This is our correct answer. There is a particular principle that we are going to use with the other triangles in order to classify them as scalene. Well, if we can classify them as scalene, then we are sure that they are not isosceles. Each of the other triangles is right angled, and the sides that form the right angle are unequal. Any triangle that fits this description is scalene. There we have HOG. HOG is a right angled triangle. Now, here we have this side and this side form the right angle. These sides are not equal in length. Therefore, we can conclude that the triangle is not isosceles. It is a scalene right-angled triangle. The triangle HOG is right-angled, as we can see. This angle, this one, that is formed by this side and this side. The angle right here is a right angle. The two sides that form the right angle, HG and HO, these two sides are unequal in length. Therefore, we are sure that the triangle is not isosceles. As a matter of fact, we are sure that it is a scalene right-angled triangle. There we have CGE, CGE, CGE. This triangle that we are talking about, CEG. This triangle is right-angled. And in this right-angled triangle, these are the two sides that form the right angle, and they are not equal in length. Therefore, the right-angled triangle is scalene. CGE also meets the requirements for a scalene right-angled triangle. The last one, FOE. FOE. This triangle is also a right angle. The right angle is right here. These two sides that form the right angle are not equal in length. Therefore, we are sure that the triangle is not isosceles. As a matter of fact, the triangle is scalene. The final triangle, FOE, is also a scalene right-angled triangle. In which triangle is the missing angle greater than 40 degrees? All of the angles of a triangle must add to give what, Jerry? Jerry's looking at the screen, so sometimes when I ask a question, he will just look at the screen and also shout the answer. What I try to do sometimes is ask him the question before putting the information on the screen. Most times, he will get the answer correct. So let us subtract the angle in question from 180 degrees. So in which triangle is the missing angle greater than 40 degrees? So if the missing angle is 40 degrees, the rest of the angles, the other two angles in the triangle, must add to give 180 minus 40, which is 140 degrees. So finding the angle that is greater than 40 degrees is equivalent to identifying the triangle in which the sum of the known angles is less than 140 degrees. So we have 40 degrees, and when we subtract that from 180 degrees, we are left with 140 degrees. Therefore, if the missing angle is greater than 40 degrees, the sum of the other two angles must be less than 140 degrees. And that is the argument that we are going to be using in order that we might end up with a speedy solution to the problem. The sum of the known angles in A is what? What is the sum? 70 degrees plus 80 degrees, and that is equal to 150 degrees. This is not less than 40 degrees. It is not the correct answer. So, as a matter of fact, if we take 150 from 180, we'll end up with 30. So, the angle that we'll get is 30 degrees, and that is not greater than 40 degrees. So, we are sure that that one is not correct. The next triangle, the sum of the angles will give 160 degrees. That is this one. 80 degrees plus 80 degrees, that is equal to 160 degrees. This is not less than 140 degrees, so B is not the correct answer. This one, C, 60 degrees plus 60 degrees is equal to 120 degrees. This is less than 140 degrees, so we have found our culprit. The triangle C is our correct answer. As a matter of fact, if we take 120 from 180, we'll end up with 60 degrees, and that is greater than 40, so we are sure that the answer is correct. We have found our answer. So let us confirm that we do not have an ambiguity. So let us ensure that we do not have any ambiguity by taking a look at option D. So we have 70 degrees plus 75 degrees, that is equal to 145 degrees. Therefore, 145 degrees is greater than 140. Therefore, we are sure that the triangle D does not have a missing angle that is greater than 40 degrees. As a matter of fact, we can subtract the 145 from 180 and we will get 35, which is of course not greater than 40 degrees. So we are sure that option D is not correct. So the only correct option is C. Which triangle has only two equal sides? Any triangle that has two equal sides is isosceles. We may identify it by observing that it has two equal sides, of course. That's not going to be strange. So we will identify that by looking at the fact that it has two equal sides. Or, if only the angles are given, that it has two equal angles. Triangles B and C have two equal angles and therefore have two equal sides. So let us look at that. We have 80 degrees here, 80 degrees here. Therefore, this one has two equal sides. 60 degrees here, 60 degrees here. So this one has two equal sides. We may be tempted to think that we have two clear answers to the question. But option C, that is isosceles, is also equilateral. So this triangle is not only isosceles, but it is equilateral. It therefore has three equal sides. The one that has only, so only is the word that we have to pay attention to. Only two equal sides is B. That is the one. Now, triangle C, this is 60 degrees and this is 60 degrees. 120 degrees. If we subtract 120 from 180, we will get 60 degrees. Therefore, this angle is also going to be 60 degrees. This will cause all of the sides of the triangle to be equal, so it will have 3 equal sides. So the one that has only 2 equal sides is option B. Do not forget that if a triangle has 2 equal angles of 60 degrees each, then the third angle is also 60 degrees. All of the angles will be equal and all of the sides will be equal. What is the length of the missing side in the triangle below? This is one of my favorite, Jerry. Just pay special attention to this. When you get very old, in your 70s like I am, then you will have no problem giving your grandchildren some very nice mathematical tricks. So, the question is asking, what is the length of the missing side in the triangle below? At first, it seems as if there is no way that we can find the length of the missing side. Some of my more advanced students might find some difficulty in solving this problem. It is not because it is hard, it is because it is too simple. Right, so when we have a lot of simple problems, my students usually come up with some outrageous answers. I always tell my students in CSEC that I can set an exam that all of them will fail. And they ask me how. I told them that I will set all of the questions very, very simple. Right, I will use very easy questions. So when they see the very easy questions, they say, this cannot be right. This is too easy to be true. And they make a big theory out of nothing at all and end up with the incorrect answer. The solution of this problem is based on the simple fact that the length of any side of a triangle must be less than the sum of the other two sides. So in a triangle, any side that you pick, that should be less than the sum of the other two sides. And of course, this is as a direct consequence of the fact that the shortest distance between any 2 points is a straight line. So let me demonstrate what that means. Now, if we are going from here to here, this is a straight line, and this is 8 centimeters. Now we are going to go from here to here again, but we are going to take this route. It is obvious that if we are going to go along this path, we are going to travel a longer distance than if we go straight down like this. Therefore, whatever this side is, when it is added to 5, it has to be greater than 8. So that is why we are able to pick our answers out successfully. So far, the length of the longest side is 8 centimeters. The other side is 5 centimeters. Therefore, we need the length that when added to 5 centimeters, the result is greater than 8 centimeters. So if we are going to go this way, a straight line, then we opt to go in this direction. Then whatever we get here has to be greater than 8. Which one of these numbers that we have here, when added to 5, is greater than 8? So 4 centimeters plus 5 centimeters is equal to 9 centimeters. Therefore, the correct answer is 4. So only the length of 4 centimeters will give us this result. The correct answer is option A. So Jerry, there you are. It is not impossible, but it takes some amount of thinking and of course a lot of common sense. If a number p divided by 4 equals 10, what will give the value of p? So let us take it statement by statement. A number p divided by 4. What does that mean? See, we have p divided by 4. And what do we say? Equals 10. That is equal to 10. So, what is the value of P? We need to find the value of P. It is divided by 4 on the left hand side. In order that we may transpose 4 to the right hand side, because we want to have P all by itself on the left hand side, so we need to transpose 4 to the right hand side. Now 4 is in a relationship that is what? A 1 of division. So P is divided by 4 on the left hand side. So by transposing 4 to the right hand side, we will be multiplying the right hand side by 4. So P is equal to 10 multiplied by 4. The answer is option B. Remember that when we are solving an equation, we need to get all of the numbers on one side and the unknown on the other side. We will therefore remove the number that is in an arithmetic relationship with the unknown to the other side. So this is in an arithmetic relationship with the P on the left hand side. We need to have P alone. Therefore, we need to remove this 4 to the right hand side. How do we do that? We are going to do that by doing the opposite. See, we will achieve this by performing the opposite of the arithmetic operation, relating the unknown to the number on the other side. So what we have is P divided by 4. So we're going to do the opposite of this on the other side. The opposite of division is multiplication, so we will multiply by 4 on the other side. What is the size of the angle marked 2x in the triangle below? So, how do we determine the size of this angle 2x? Well, we have two unknown angles, but in this entire thing we really have one unknown, and that single unknown is x. 180 degrees minus 30 degrees is equal to 150 degrees. Why do we do that? Let's see. All of the angles in the triangle must add to give 180 degrees. One angle is already 30 degrees, so we know that 30 degrees already. What is the size of the angle that is left to be shared between the other two? So one angle is 30. What do we share between the other two? We take 30 from 180, and the result is 150 degrees, Jerry. The size of the other two angles combined will give what? What is the size of the two combined? We are going to combine the 2x with the x. We might put the x first. X plus 2x. What is x plus 2x? 3x. Not you, Jerry. We have the thing on the board already, so I wouldn't bother to ask you that question. So x plus 2x is equal to 3x. Now we have a simple equation to solve. What is that simple equation? The sum of the angles is 3x, and of course those two angles, x and 2x, are the angles that remain when we subtract 30 from 180. So we have now 150 degrees right here, which represent the angle or the total angles that remain. And of course, the total angle that remains is what? 3x. So 3x is equal to 150. The unknown is x. It is related to 3 by multiplication. In order to transpose 3 to the other side, leaving the unknown alone on the left hand side, we need to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we are going to be dividing by 3 on the right hand side. So x is equal to 150 divided by 3. X is equal to 50 degrees. But it is not good enough to find the value of x. We need to find the angle marked 2x. The size of the angle that we need is not x, but 2x. Its value will therefore be 2 times the value of x, and the value of x is 50. 2 times the value of x, which is 50, is 100. The correct answer is option D. If A is equal to 9, B is equal to 6, and C is equal to 1, which expression represents A plus B divided by all of B minus C? That's not very difficult. So let us write down the initial statement. There we have it. Substitute the values of A, B, and C in their respective positions. So A is equal to 9, so we replace A by 9. Of course, in the formula, we have 2 occurrences of B. B is equal to 6. Therefore, we are going to replace those 2 occurrences with 6. And finally, C is equal to 1. The expression now looks exactly like option D. That is the one that we have right here. So the correct answer is option D. If m multiplied by 5 is equal to 40, what is m? M multiplied by 5 is equal to 40. What is m? So let us rewrite the equation. We are multiplying by 5 on the left hand side. We therefore need to divide by 5 on the right hand side, because we need to strip this unknown of the accompanying number. And this number is related to m by multiplication. In order to transpose it to the other side, we need to do the opposite of multiplying by 5, which is dividing by 5. And we need to do that on the other side. So m is equal to 40 divided by 5. And of course, if we know our multiplication table that we should know, 40 divided by 5 is 8. So m is equal to 8. The answer is option C. Now this one is very nice. In this problem, we have a triangle as our unknown. We will treat it in the same way that we treat any other unknown. For example, x. So if we have an unknown, we may treat it like we have treated any other unknown. And we are saying if 5 triangle plus 8 is equal to 48, what is the value of triangle? So let us rewrite the equation first. That's it. In order to find the value of triangle, we need to transpose the 5 and the 8 to the other side. So in order to find the value of this, we need to transpose both the 5 and the 8 to the other side. We will first transpose the one that is least related to the triangle first. So the one that is least related to the triangle, we can see it right here, that 5 is closely related to the triangle and 8 is related to the triangle to a lesser extent. The one that is least related to the triangle is 8. So we can see, of course, that 5 is more closely related to it. So the one that is least related to the triangle is 8. The relationship is addition, C plus 8. We will transpose 8 to the other side by subtraction. So 5 triangle is equal to 48 minus 8. So we are actually transposing this positive 8 to the right hand side. By so doing, we will be subtracting 8 from the right hand side. So we have 5 triangle is left on the left hand side, and we have 48 minus 8. Next, we need to transpose 5 to the other side. 5 triangle means what? 5 multiplied by triangle. The relationship is multiplication. We will transpose 5 to the other side by division. So, triangle is equal to 48 minus 8 divided by 5. The answer is option A. If 21 multiplied by k is equal to 661, what is the value of k? So let us rewrite the equation. We always do that. In order to find the value of k, we need to transpose 21 to the other side. Multiplication is commutative, that is, the order in which we multiply numbers does not affect the result. Since the relationship is multiplication, that is any way we take it, if we take it 21 multiplied by k or k multiplied by 21, it is still multiplication. We need to divide by 21 on the left hand side in order to transpose it successfully. So k is equal to 661 divided by 21. Now we have written it first in the form of a fraction. Now we may write it with the division sign. K is equal to 661 divided by 21. The answer is option A. How is the statement thrice a number n plus 7 is equal to 20 written? Let us take it statement by statement. Thrice a number n. Thrice means 3 times. The way that times is used implies multiplication. 3 multiplied by n. So 3 multiplied by n is equal to 3n. Plus 7, no explanation for plus 7, we just plus 7. This one is equal to 20. That's very straightforward. The answer is option D. Michael is 17 years old. How old was he n years ago? So let us write down Michael's present age. 17. He's 17 years old. How old was he n years ago? N years ago is telling us that we are talking about sometime when he was younger. Younger means that his age was less. We need to subtract n from his present age. The answer is option C. If we divide, we would have received a smaller number. However, when our age increases by a set number of years, we do not multiply. We add. Therefore, we do not divide by a given number of years in order to determine how old someone was some years ago. So, if we divide, that does not make any sense at all. The pie chart shows people attending a water fun park on a Sunday, which will give the size of the angle represented by women. There we have highlighted women. We know that a percentage is a fraction whose denominator is 100. What are we trying to do? Find the size of the angle represented by women. So, we know that a percentage is a fraction whose denominator is 100. Let us rewrite the fraction that 25% represents. So, 25 over 100, and that is the fraction that 25% represents. The angle that is represented by 1 revolution is 360 degrees. That means the angle of the total pie will be 360 degrees. we will multiply the fraction by 360 in order to find the angle that is represented by women. The correct answer is option A. What percentage is represented by men? That we have that slice of the pie representing men. Of all of the sectors that are represented, the only percentage that is unknown is the value assigned to men. So let us find the total percentage represented by the others. So all of the others we have 25%, 35%, and 30%. When we add those together, we get 90%. The entire pie is represented by 100%. The percentage allocated to men will be that which remains after subtracting 90% from 100%. 90 subtracted from 100, or 100 minus 90, is equal to 10. The answer is option B. What fraction of the people is girls? So what fraction? Girls. We know that a percentage is a fraction whose denominator is 100. So 35 over 100, that is what we are trying to find, and that is equal to 35 divided by 100. The answer is given as a decimal fraction. We will use the traditional way of dividing by 100, which is reducing the value of 35 by 2 places of decimal. Remember that in a whole number, the decimal point is actually to the right of the digits. When dividing by 100, the new location of the point will be 2 decimal places to the left of the digits relative to its initial position. A 0 may be placed to the left of the decimal point, indicating that the value is without a whole number part. So 0.35 means that we have no whole number, but we have a fractional part. So the correct answer is option B. If the total number of people at the park was 500, how many were boys? In order to find how many were boys, we need to take the fraction represented by boys and multiply it by the total number. And what is the total number? 500. So, of course, a percentage is a fraction whose denominator is 100. So, 30 over 100 is our fraction. We then need to multiply this fraction by the total number of people. 500. We may reduce the fraction by a common factor of 100, and that is done simply by striking off 2 zeros in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. So, 30 multiplied by 5 is equal to 150. The correct answer is option D. Find the median of the scores below. The median is the middle entry. No, the median is not just any middle entry. It has to be the middle entry if the data is arranged in ascending or descending order. Therefore, if it is not an ordered set of numbers, then the median is not necessarily the middle number. But if we have them in numerical order, increasing in size or decreasing in size, then we are sure that we are able to find the median immediately, as it will be the middle entry. So there are 5 entries. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. The middle entry is the third one. So we have 1, 2, 3. So that is our median. So the median is 31. We could have identified the middle entry by using the primitive method of simultaneously striking off pairs of entries beginning at the ends. So cross off one at the left and one on the right. Then cross off the other in line, and the one that is left is the median. 31 is left, and it is therefore the median. The correct answer is option C. If 7x is equal to 42, what is the value of x? And Jerry, we have solved so many equations that you are going to tell us exactly what to do in this one. So let's go, Jerry. There we have the equation. Speak up. Good. That's very good. Right, so he's saying that 7x means 7 multiplied by x. The relationship is therefore multiplication on this side. Therefore, we need to transpose the 7 onto the other side by doing the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And that is so right. So 7x means 7 multiplied by x, as Jerry stated. And he's also saying that we are multiplying by 7 on the left hand side. We therefore need to divide by 7 on the right hand side. And of course he said also that is because division is the opposite of multiplication. So let us divide by 7. What is 42 divided by 7 now, Jerry? You need to tell us the result of that. 6. So 42 divided by 7 is equal to 6. So x is equal to 6. The answer is option C. Every year, the same number of boys and girls are placed in Form V, a total of 50 students. The following table shows the number of them that pass mathematics each year. If all of the boys pass the examination in 2003, how many girls are placed in Form V each year? So what is this statement of the problem really saying? It is saying that every year the same number of boys is placed in Form V. So for the entire time, the number of boys that we have in the class in 2000 will be the same as the number in 2001, and the same in 2002, the same in 2003. Also, the number of girls in the class in 2000 will be exactly equal to the number of girls in 2001 and will be equal to the number of girls in 2002. Right? So, in every year, the total number of boys will be the same and the number of girls in the class will be the same. Now it's saying the problem is also requesting the number of girls that are placed in Form V. So if all of the boys pass the examination in 2003, how many girls are placed in Form V? So all of the boys pass the examination in 2003. All of the boys pass in 2003. How many boys does this represent? 2003, how many boys? 20. Right, so 20 boys in 2003. Let us find the bit of information in the statement of the problem that will help us to answer the question. We have a total of 50 students. There's always a total of 50 students in the class. Right? All of them pass the examination and 20 pass the examination. So we are sure that there are 20 boys in the class. So how many girls are present? If there is a total of 50 students, then the remaining students are girls. 50 minus 20 is equal to 30. The correct answer is option A. What is our question this time? What is the mean number of boys that passed mathematics from 2000 to 2004? And of course, we have highlighted all of the number of boys who passed the examination over the entire period. To find the mean, add all of the entries and divide the result by the number of entries. So, how many entries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to add all of the entries and divide by 5. Now, I always tell my students that when you are adding numbers, do not attempt to do that blindly. Make use of some uniformity in the sum in order to simplify your calculation. Now, what do we have? 17 and 13. So we see that the 7 plus the 3 will give a number that ends with a 0. Of course, 17 plus 13 is equal to 30. And of course, the same thing with 15 and 15. So 17 plus 13 is 30. 15 plus 15 is 30. So that we have 60. And then to that we need to add 20. So that's a total of 80. So that's easy to add. 80 divided by 5, and that is equal to 16. So the mean is equal to 16. And the correct answer is option D. That's a fitting way to finish this exercise, Jerry, is it? The final answer is the final option. And this is the end of this cycle of Richard James Mathematics Resources. All of 5 practice papers are done. In the other cycle, which will be in a few years from now, we will take on another 5 practice papers and we will do them in a most glorious way. By that time, Jerry Lewis would have been about 4th or 5th form in high school. Goodbye, Jerry.